Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 4 of the BUSR F1 Winter Championship. I'm Marley. I'm joined here by Doomskull.
Yeah,
Don't know
hello.
which way
It's
around.
great to be back here. Um, and yeah, tonight we're going to Barcelona. It's a pretty good track. I really like Barcelona personally. And I think it'll be quite interesting today. Um, so far it's looking like it's going to be raining during qualifying, which is going to be chaos. Let's put it that way.
Yes, this is a new layout to our drivers here compared to pretty much every year beforehand, because this is going to be the new variation of the circuit, the new turn 10, the chicaneless variant as well. So it should be interesting to see. Well, I say it should be interesting to see how our drivers drive around there, but obviously they've done plenty of practice for tonight's event. But it'll still be cool to watch the cars go around and not have to go through that awful chicane.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've actually seen the new layout in game yet, so I do look forward to this. It'll be interesting. I want to see how it'll be driven, because it's obviously going to try change quite a few things. The lap time will be shorter as well, so yeah, very interesting to see.
And as a part of the interesting things to see, I have the points totals up. Of course, if you were here last week, you would have seen Cameron take the win quite in a quite spectacular fashion after a couple of race restarts in Hungary. Matimumu coming up in second, I believe, due to several penalties being flip-flopped one way or another. Because I do not remember him finishing in that position. I believe I think it was Jareki who ended up finishing second on track, something like that, and he got bumped down the order. But our championship goes as follows. Cameron Searle is currently in the lead, 302 points, which is 8 points clear of Matty Mumu. So Matty Mumu will be looking to try and regain a few spots. Jareki in third with Joe 3 points behind. So it's 251, 248 respectively. There's all sorts of close battlings happening here. There's a good battle for fifth. Geek, Alpha, and Assassin. Geek on 221. Alpha 2 points behind. And Assassin 5 points behind that. So there's a lot of positions here that drivers will be wanting to try and ensure that they finish ahead of, especially the battle for the lead. So Cameron and Matty Mumu. This is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Usually at this point in the championships, there's a clear driver who's ahead by 10, 15 points. But here we've got very close battling all the way down the grid.
There are some technical difficulties right now, so hopefully those will be resolved quickly. I believe there's an issue with Steam or something or other, which is causing the lobby to be broken, as in it's kicked us everyone.
I can confirm that Steam is currently down. Hold on. So I'll do one bit of investigation. Look, of course, go have a look at. I wonder if it is just our region that is down. Yes, it is. So, like some sort of weather front has come and just taken out all of the Steam servers.
Nah, Valve is just messing with us. They're doing something in the background.
Oh dear, this is bizarre. All of the American servers are absolutely fine, so maybe we just
time to get
fix for their servers. Yeah, VPN over it'll be fine.
Who needs good ping anyway?
Not for any online racing. I've never seen any requirement for that. Well, in that case, then I will try and do a sidebar, because normally we'd be in qualifying watching our drivers do some laps. I have to say that this track, secretly, even though I did talk horrific smack about the chicane just a second ago, is one of my more favourite circuits to drive. Unfortunately, I know that a lot of people. I don't want to get hate, but I know that this is a boring circuit that people don't like. But I'll be honest, I quite like that chicane. So it was a good equalizer of what's the word I'm looking for? Not skill, but you're definitely not putting two cars side by side through there. And it was interesting to see how the drivers would filter themselves through the final sector, even if they were clearly faster than the slow person in front of them. What do you think of Barcelona?
I mean, it's been a really long time since I've actually driven in Barcelona, so I can't remember if it was like 3 seasons ago in ACC that we last drove, or if it was even before that when I did one of the F2 like fun off-season seasons. Where it was in the rain. That was really fun, actually, in the F2s in the rain. You could just drift around the, what is it, turn 2 or 3? The really long right-hander.
Turn 3, indeed, yes. Ooh. See, I'm normally driving around there in a GT car. I don't think I've had the opportunity to try out the new game yet, but I play a lot of ACC, as you've probably seen with me competing at ACC. So this is a circuit that I quite enjoy in a GT car, and I think it works best. I mean, you alluded to in the F2 car. I know it's a full international circuit, and it's whatever, they've got all the prestige, blah blah blah. I think it works best in kind of the second tier of car. I think it works best in GT4. I think it works best also in kind of the Ferrari Challenge, Porsche Cup cars. I think that GT3 and F1 cars, you kind of know what you're expecting. At least with those cars, you get a bit slidey. You can overtake in places that are a bit strange. But then again, I saw some insane overtakes last week in Hungary where people were doing all sorts of insane moves into Sector 2. So
yeah, Sector 2 is like not the place you want to be trying to in Hungary. But yeah, like both of those tracks, I do really enjoy them in ACC. In GT3 cars, they're really fun. I don't really drive in Formula 1 that much. I just maybe once or twice a year I'll try the game. I mostly do the stream production here, and that's the only reason I really get the games. But in ACC, they're really fun, and I'm sure that in the Formula 1 car, our drivers will be having a blast today. It is a fun circuit.
It is. I think its reputation will be complete. Its reputation of being a bit of a boring circuit. I think that's only in real life. I think what we're going to see today is some carnage.
Yeah,
potentially lap 1 as per usual. As per usual.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a BUSR race if there wasn't a safety car in the first corner, and this is quite a sharp corner, so we'll have to see.
I mean, after turn 1, I think it's going to be a good battle for the lead. As we saw in Hungary, we saw the leaders, the front 4-5 cars, all sitting within a couple of seconds of each other, all the way until the first safety car, more or less. So, will we see them try and continue the same plan? Who knows? Maybe Cameron will attempt to drive off. Maybe Jareki will attempt to drive off. Maybe Matti Mumu will attempt to drive off. There are 3 people. I'm lying. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. We have plenty of people who are currently in the top end of our championship who would very much like the opportunity to be 15 seconds ahead of the competition. So, I'm excited, but what's happening with these servers? Where are they?
So, a new lobby is currently being formed. I am in the lobby. People are still joining, though. So hopefully we'll be going in the next 5 minutes.
Excellent. I am looking at the Steam status information, it seems that London has stopped panicking. So, excellent. I don't know what all of the other numbers mean, but London says okay next to it, so I'm taking that. We seem to have most of the drivers. I don't know if they usually hang about in the team chat. I don't think they do.
I am actually really not sure. I know there's some drivers that definitely do, but I'm not sure if it's everyone.
Just having a look.
At the moment, we have got 11 drivers in the lobby.
Right.
12.
So we're expecting... Ooh, here we go. We're expecting 6, 10... We're expecting 15 drivers, and I actually have... Here's something else to talk about. I actually have the split of which drivers are which. So Jason and Ice and Nillis will be taking over the Red Bull. RBW 2004 and Wilson in the Ferrari. Assassin and Tom Hug will be in the Mercedes. No one likes the Alpine, which I think is a shame, because that's a good livery. I'd love to see that on track.
I always forget that Alpine even exists. Like, if I try to go through all the like manufacturers, I will forget Alpine every single time without fail.
I mean, it's their own fault for bringing the 9th fastest car to the grid this year, so it is what it is. No shade, but it is what it is. Geek and Alpha are in the McLaren, which seems to be a very popular team. I think that team has switched hands a few times throughout the season. Jareki and Matthew Ashley in the Alpha. Aston has no drivers, which again surprises me. It's a lovely livery. And Fernando Alonso's there. I don't know if that would have won any favours with anyone.
Yeah, but there's also Stroll, so...
look, don't talk smack about my man Stroll, okay? He's going to be the future world champion, and everyone will stop laughing at that point. Haas have BUSR. That's the other car is unoccupied due to I'm going to assume scheduling conflicts. Cameron Searle and Edie are in the Alpha Tauri. And finally, in the Williams is Matty Mumu and Joe, as per last week.
Yeah, so a lot of the fastest people are choosing the Williams, it seems, which is interesting. I do like the Williams, and I miss the days of old, before I was even born, when Williams were, like, really good. So yeah, it's interesting to see that some of the top drivers are choosing Williams. It looks like the lobby's getting ready to go. We've only got 13 drivers in, but we will be switching to qualifying shortly.
I am comparing the list from last week to this week. It seems that Matty Mumu and Joe are really, really, really big fans of the Williams, because I believe...
Indeed. I think they've been Williams every single time. Yeah,
they've had Williams all this time. Also, as part of this, looking through, Geek has switched from the Red Bull to the McLaren, so I think that's going to be a scenery change for the lead pack here, which is a shame, I think, for the whatever the car was I said was.
Yeah, we are now in qualifying, in the qualifying session. It doesn't look like it's raining, but it is definitely wet.
Excellent. This should be fun. How many cars immediately decide that it is not a good idea to be pointing forward?
Well, no one's left the pits yet, so...
All of them.
Yeah, but it does take... If I'm to understand correctly, you can't save a setup and you need to enter it manually every single time, so it's probably whoever can enter their setup quickest, right?
Oh, that's a strategy. Well, Wilson's first out the pit lane, so that is the award for the fastest person to make a setup. Attempting to warm their soft tyres.
I guess it's not that wet then. It definitely had a rain cloud on the...
There is a sheen on the track, it looks like.
Yeah, let's go on first-person camera here.
This is actually the ideal line for all of these corners. If you are attempting to learn, this is the perfect steering action to be doing all the time. I recommend you do this with cars next to you.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and you will be loved for it.
Look, the stewards will only give you penalties if you actually hit anything, and you won't hit anything because you'll be going so fast because you're following these steering actions. This is genius.
So it seems like he's really struggling to warm up his tyres if he's having to weave so much.
I wonder if the track is still damp, but not to the point that wets are
I think
faster.
it definitely is still damp. It looks like it's damp.
And there's a new turn 13. That caught me off guard for a second. Here he goes for flying lap. So, times that we should be expecting are around the 111 to high 111 area as we see Wilson here take the turns 1 and 2 complex very nicely. Turn 3, long, open, 180-degree turn. It kind of widens on exit. And same again here, a smaller version of the same turn. Turn 4 into turn 5 now, going down the gears. Slightly downhill, you want to be out on the curbing on the outside there. A little cake through turn 6 and into turn the 7 and 8 uphill. You want to kind of keep off that softish curb or else you'll invalidate your lap through into turn 9 and onto the back DRS straight. Now turn 10 has been reprofiled, it is much wider than it used to be, going all the way around the Barcelona sign on the left hand side there as we see Wilson get a bit sideways. Turn 12 again, open hairpin and into turn 13. We're not diving into that chicane area, we're going full pedal to the metal through into turn 14, going all the way up to the white line. We should be seeing a lovely lap of 12, pretty much 12 dead. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. I'm sure we will see much faster than that. But it's a decent first lap. Let's see who else is behind. Alright, we've just heard Jarky setting a lap quite a bit faster in the 11.6 range. And Assassin not too far behind. So far Wilson's not had that great of a lap compared to his fellow drivers, but there we go. We have AD there setting a lap 12.3, and who was that?
I think they're just letting some cars. Ooh, I'm not sure if he's letting some cars by.
That is an Alfa Romeo.
Ooh, he may have span.
Yeah,
I have a feeling after he'd finished his lap there. It's a bit awkward because it seems where he span was very close to our racing line. So,
I mean, yeah, he might have dipped a wheel in into the grass during braking. I tend to do that quite a bit.
No, I did that. I did that a few times. There's
Cameron Searle is out. Where was that?
That's up at the turn 12.
We'll see it in a second.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been cleared. I love this game. It doesn't let me see anything interesting.
Must have dropped it coming out the turn and just snapped the suspension. That's going to put a dampener on his championship here. He is the current leader of our championship and I believe the winner of our last 2 races. So
yeah,
he's got a lot to fight for if he's going to be starting what is essentially the back of the grid here.
Yeah, and Dassin we see pretty much a 111 flat. That is a very impressive lap time. Over 2/10 clear of Matty Mumu.
I don't think the track is anywhere close to wet. These
supposed to
lap
be
times,
wet, I think.
I don't
know, maybe it's going to be more wet during the race.
That'll be interesting. As we see a yellow flag just here.
Yeah, that's just letting people past, it seems. Got Geek. Oh, he just set a lap time right before I was able to switch to his car. Putting himself up to 4th.
So looking at our our time tower here. The first few laps that all of our drivers have managed to do puts Dason in the lead with a 1:11 dead. Matty Mumu on a 0.2, Job on a 0.2, Geek on a 0.5, Jericho on a 0.6, and Assassin on a 0.9. So we have 6 drivers within a second at the top there. And then Wilson, BUSR, Moore Island, 6 Force, 9, 4 7, and AD to round out the top 10. So Alpha is still on an outlap, and I believe AD here is coming in. He must have invalidated his lap time or something. And Tom Hug has not set a lap either. So rather bizarre beginning of qualifying there with Cameron Searle putting himself out of commission. But as we see here, Alpha coming around to start his lap. Just having a look at the old YouTube chat here. We've got White in here saying that it's going to be P1 for Owen, I heard. So confidence for Owen. I think he'll be sharing the love back when it comes to ACC on Monday. White.
Yeah, Geek hasn't had that good of a season so far. He's been consistently not in first.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how he performs today. Someone is saying he'll get P1, so hope for him it turns out to be the case, but we will have to see, as his teammate Alpha here is almost done with his flying lap.
Through the last couple of turns now. This is a much, as much as I do like the chicane, that's a much cleaner section now. Ooh.
And that puts him right in front of his teammate.
Ooh, maybe an inter-team rivalry. I'm loving to see it. As he comes to a stop just to let, I believe, Jericho through. I believe it is. So Alpha making his way into the top 5 with a 0.5 lap. That is barely ahead of Geek there. So if Geek has anything left on the table, you know, he's got his chance to put himself back in front of his own teammate.
Yeah, and Geek is just about to leave the pits. He should have time to do 2 more laps. But that depends how quickly he can get in and out of the pits.
It's all very Noah's Ark at the minute with both the Williams, both of the McLarens, and technically, if you look at it this way, both the Alpha Tauris.
Wilson has retired from the session right on the pit entrance.
Has he put it in the wall?
I don't know, but again, the game clears it just before we get there.
I suspect that it was right where the wall was, because that looks like he must have understeered and hit it.
Yeah, and Jericho has just set his new personal best, putting up into 4th.
Excellent. Bumped up his lap time by a couple of tenths there. Looking good. These times will start tumbling. I have a feeling we might even get into the high 10s. I was looking at kind of what to expect from hot laps, and our times right now are about 3/10 away from the fastest hot laps that I've managed to find. So I have a feeling that the track is fairly cold, fairly compliant, as we see Matty Mumu and Job consolidate themselves at the top here. See what they can do. Geek coming across the line.
Lap.
Some shuffling happening in Sector 3. Jason just leaving the pits as well. It's probably another 2 laps for our drivers here, because if you don't regularly watch F1, well, first off, welcome. And secondly, it's it seems that in our qualifying stages here, our drivers tend to only do one fast lap and then straight into pit lane. We did see last week a couple of people take 2 out laps, which was, I don't think, worked out for them. I think we did ask in the interview, and it was more a case of I forgot to go in than anything.
Yeah, we just saw Geek setting a purple sector 2. That sets him up very nicely to get into the top 3 here. And it will be third.
Third. So it must have been kind of a messy sector 1 or sector 3, but that, again, that's bumped him up several positions up from where he was there. P3, not too shabby at all. We see Dason now starting a lap. I believe AD just behind, heading into the pit lane. That puts Dason the only person on a lap on track in a minute. I think everyone else is waiting for that final time slot to be able to go out and get their laps done. Does look rather silly with everyone in the pits right now. As Dason sets the fastest sector 1. Currently the fastest person on track, and they've gone even faster than their fastest lap. Ooh, very exciting.
Yeah, well, the track is slightly more rubbered in now. So we would expect it to get a little bit faster, but it does get interesting here. Can Dason set a new purple sector 2? Yeah, Dason is on a roll here. He might put on a lap that no one will be able to beat or come close to beating.
I mean, that's what you always hope as a driver, is to be able to set a lap that is so unbelievably fast that no one has any chance of beating it. As he comes to line of 0.8.
That is
a 10.8. Again, I just want to reiterate, the fastest hot laps that I found on YouTube before coming here were in the 10.7, 10.66 range. So 10.8, you are looking ridiculous. And that's hot lap mode. That is optimized, lowest fuel, blah, blah, blah. I'm not entirely...
Is it F1 esports kind of pace then?
You know what? I am interested in this.
Because we have seen some pretty insane laps that were F1 esports pace previously.
So I am investigating this. So unfortunately, because it's a new layout, they haven't updated. They've not updated their website here. That's annoying. PSGL, that's vaguely professional. Shout out PSGL. I cannot tell what layout anyone is using. This is very annoying. I think even PSGL were using the old layout as well. So, wait, how? It's the new game. F1 Esports, PSGL, fastest lap time 10.779. Wow. Dason's lap time there would put him on the same row as Jarno Opmeer.
That is pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, these lap times are not slow. I mean, Matti Mumu would not be starting last in that grid. Geek would not be starting last in that grid. I have a feeling that some of this is down to the track being much cooler and perhaps just being able to use their tyres in a lower / higher, I think, lower pressure than some of the drivers would be able to get a bit more lateral grip for in exchange for front top speed. But that is still ridiculous.
As we see here, Tom Hug yet to set a lap time.
currently starting behind a car that is no longer in one piece. So hopefully Tomo can complete this lap. He will.
Good enough for 8.
Not bad. So I've just spotted Dason coming out of the pit lane here. So he's going to have to get a move on. It's going to look like, unless anyone comes out the pit lane in the next 10, 15 seconds, that he is going to be the last car to set a time, and it does look that way. So Dason is our last driver to be properly setting a lap. So we see here Job at the front of this train of cars attempting to get a lap in. So they all come around the final turn. We can see back there, I believe that is Geek and AD nose to tail almost. Very bizarre set of circumstances back there, as you can see in the back of the screen there.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure if this is going to help AD much in any way with all of that dirty air coming off the McLaren. Just keeping an eye on the map there. Yeah, it looks like the final car setting laps will be Dason.
I think BUSR might just get in.
With 3 seconds, definitely not, no.
BUSR has left it way too late. Unfortunate for him.
A shame. So, just behind BUSR is Matty... No, sorry, Job. I make a mistake. A very tight line through the last turn, and that puts him a 10th up and ahead of Geek. Coming across the line now, AD jumping up from 11th position into 8th. We have both Alfa Romeos giving up on their laps. Unfortunate. Assassin coming to the line. Can he go faster than 10th?
No.
No, unfortunately not. Coming around the final turn is Matamunu also abandoning his lap, which means that Alpha is the next across the line. 6th fastest, stays 6th fastest, and Dason, I think, has realised no one can beat him. Comes in to save his tyres. I believe that other than the people who are still on track after finishing their lap, I believe that is everything.
Perhaps, why is the game not going to the next session then?
I believe it has to finish the pit stop animations for the drivers before they count as not being finished. Yeah, there you go.
Wow. That's some fantastic game design.
Well, fantastic driving is another thing we've seen today, and Dason taking the pole position of the race. A cracking lap, a 10.8 there. You don't get to see that very often.
Yeah, 0.27 seconds clear of the next fastest, which was Matty.
But Matty can't be too disappointed at that. A clean P2 just ahead of his teammate Job and Geek starting alongside on the second row. So will we see any, I think, opportunistic moves on the start? I don't think it's a question. I think it's more of an inevitability here.
Yeah.
With our drivers.
Well, while we wait to find out, why don't we hear from our partners over at Special Effect to see just what they do?
Nobody likes being left out. That's why Special Effect are helping people with physical disabilities to play video games. But this isn't just about having fun. The gaming setups we create are personalised, so people can play to the very best of their abilities. And that opens the door to inclusion and independence, confidence and creativity. Help us level the playing field and create more magical gaming moments. because it's everyone's turn to play.
We are back. So, once again, special effect, fantastic charity. Go check them out, and we are very proud to be working with them. But going back to the race here, as I am waiting in the lobby here, I can't help but notice that it is very much pouring it with rain. Lap 1 is going to be a disaster.
Look, from previous experience in running wet races, it's either really, 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 really bad to begin with, or I think all the drivers understand that if they do something stupid, they will receive the stupid reward. And I think they kind of mellow out and be careful. I have no way of confirming either direction, but 5 lights already here. And away we go. Dason getting a decent start. Spray everywhere. I can barely see a thing. It looks like everyone's holding station for the time being. Tom Hug managing to get by. They're going almost 3 wide at the back of the grid. They're both Williams side by side. And, ooh, a little bit, getting a bit hung up on each other. AlphaTauri taken to the inside of the track there. It's Pandemonium. Who is that around? I think that is the Mercedes of Assassin and BUSR, the Hearts driver, getting a bit caught up in each other. As we come through turn 4, everyone mostly nose to tail. There is a very odd line being taken by the Ferrari there, but for the most part, everyone's managed to sort themselves out.
This is going to be very chaotic on the compression side of the stream, so apologies if no one can actually see what's happening.
It's not the most ideal. If you're wondering why that happens, I recommend a great video, Tom Scott and Compression. He explains why confetti ruins everything. It's a great video. Fun fact, while I was away on holiday in Germany, I managed to actually find a location from Tom Scott thumbnail and snuck a little photo while I was there. It's excellent. Got to see some suspended railway. Highly recommend. I love trains. So you see Dason taking the lead of our race. Matty Mumu in second. Job not far behind. Jarek made his way up to 4th ahead of Geek. Tom Hug into 6th. One of the biggest losers so far at the minute is Alpha, and I'm going to say AD as well, getting a 5-second penalty from entering the pit lane. That's 3 cars at the pit lane, both AlphaTauris and BUSR. Oh, this is not going to end well for Cameron Searle.
Oh,
and he just
double stack. That is
there.
A long stop.
Oh dear. So we got confirmation on why Cameron bombed out of qualifying early. It was due to his wheel disconnecting, and that's not ideal for someone who was in the lead of the championship at the minute. So we see Jarek defending himself against Geek here. Geek losing that position basically on the start line. So, possible strategies. Thank you, AWS, for telling us that it is wet. So that's what I love about AWS. They're a pioneering company inventing new ways just to tell us what we can see on our screen.
Yep. And then if you accidentally leave a server running for too long, it will eat up your bank account.
Yeah, don't get a server with AWS unless you are very, very careful. I have made that mistake once and never again. Wasted about 40 quid.
Oh?
As Jove has a disconnect here. Mighty Mumu also disconnect. Geek disconnecting.
Is this a potential server
I'm
issue?
checking.
Will there need to be a restart?
I am investigating. Wilson has left the session. It's Pandemonium.
Jarek also left. I think this is going to be red flagged, and we are going to restart. Because at the moment, it seems like everyone has left. Is this a Steam issue again?
Currently, it seems Steam is fine. I've sent a ping to Ed, our league manager. Oh,
and I've been kicked. Well, I think there has been a slight issue.
I have sent a requisite number of question marks to Ed, our league operator, and he says, and I quote, "Steam again?" Question mark. He is currently typing. We'll bring you the news as it happens, live on the scene. He says, "Doesn't seem to be a problem in our end, as we're fine, but everyone's just died."
Interesting.
And Steam has also died. I've seen several percentage signs that have gone horribly right. It's all happening. It's all happening.
Val,
London is
can
at
you
25%.
please stop messing with your services for 5 minutes? Also,
London's
fix
at
CS2,
20.
please.
Look, CS2, it's bad, but it's not that bad. But it is bad. Look,
I just want GoTV to work, because I am about to be hosting a LAN tournament, and we want it streamed live, and at the moment we're currently going to be having to be playing with CSGO, because CS2 still doesn't have spectating.
that is true. It sucks. You don't get third person in casual anymore, so you can't just swoop around the map and make comments. Look, I'm not. Look, I play Counter-Strike kind of brain dead, but that's not the point. What's happening here is that London and Madrid and Paris and Stockholm and Vienna and Warsaw and Frankfurt and Amsterdam have all collapsed.
Just Europe.
There is no Steam there. If we connected to JFK, New York, we'd be fine. But
we'd also have like 10 billion ping, but that doesn't
better
matter.
than having no ping. Ooh, Johannesburg has also gone down, so it's not just Europe.
Ooh.
Johannesburg has also fallen.
Maybe just this side of the ocean, then.
Apparently it's COD killing the Steam servers.
That would make sense.
Oh dear. When did that release today?
It released yesterday, I think, but I'm assuming people are getting that today. If there's a very big demand of people trying to download it, then that would be issues.
I am doing my own investigating work here.
Also, I've heard that the new game is really bad.
Well, then why is everyone playing it?
People that like COD just will continue buying COD.
I'm doing my investigation here.
Got Detective Marley here.
I have searched Steam on Twitter, and I have found a Steam locomotive. I have found Geometry Dash. What have I sort by latest? Oh God, don't do that, Jesus. Oh, don't, right, never sort by latest on Twitter. Steam is down, third time in 30 minutes. What the F is going on? Steam is down. Why play it when Steam crashes all the time? Fixes les servers. Thank you, French. Thank you, Eagles 75,000. Middle finger emoji. Yeah, it seems that Steam is completely eating it at the minute.
Ooh, the number of reports currently for Steam being down is much higher than it was earlier.
Steam charts. Ooh, let's see whose fault it is. I can tell you right now that Call of Duty is currently not even the most played game at the minute.
Good. Is the most played game still that other game that released recently?
What, Counter-Strike?
No, not Counter-Strike. I mean, maybe second most played game. I didn't know.
Oh, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, that one.
That is currently just behind Call of Duty. So Counter-Strike is eating up 870,000 players at the minute. Dota 2 at 6,600 players. PUBG just PUBG at 250,000, Apex Legends 180,000, and then we get to Call of Duty 170,000. I don't blame the COD players. So you know what? I'm going to reply and say Steam is just word that I can't say on stream.
Nice.
So you're going to see our mugs for a little bit longer as this issue is rectified.
I'm very surprised to see that PUBG is still so popular after all these years.
Yeah, it's still possibly the most played game ever on Steam. I think it was 1 point. At one point, it was like 3.2 million concurrent players at the peak, which is like double what Counter-Strike has managed to do with the new game.
That's quite impressive.
Crazy. They have asked if there's going to be a race restart, and Ed said, "Hold on." So something's going to happen, potentially, maybe.
If we can get a lobby back, then we'll probably end up with like a small race.
Hopefully. I mean, we only completed, what, 2 laps?
Yeah, 2 laps before things started going a bit haywire. But a new lobby is being made right now. It's saying that I'm offline, apparently. But oh well, I've joined the lobby.
There's a lot of question marks happening in the F1 chat because I think they've read something before actually taking it in. Yeah, there we go. They were all complaining about one-shot qualifying. There is no one-shot qualifying. We don't do this. I promise. We should. It would be funny, but we don't.
Is there a way for the grid to be reset to something specific?
I believe so. We have had this happen before. I am scouring the internet for everything. Oh my word. Okay. The EU graph for a second was just entirely yellow. Just bright yellow. Dasher is asking if anyone has any objection to restarting as a 50%. So I think restarting as we were before.
Someone's saying 100%. I mean, I would love for us to do 100% races, but I don't want to be sat here for that long.
I don't think my sanity could do that. Jason saying I don't object unless the alternative is full points from where the first disconnect occurred.
That is very fair.
Jason, he's working his hardest. I need you to calm down, sir. But we should be getting a lobby going shortly.
Yeah, people are joining now. 10 people have joined, so I think we're only waiting for 3 more. Apologies. 1 more now. And I'm sure as soon as everyone's joined, we will be going. Now I'm just waiting for Dasher to remember to take off the qualifying session.
If it happens again, it will be a void round and a possible reschedule. And if anyone says they can't do 50%, we will do 35% length race. I'm partaking in their knocking of the Steam servers. No one's particularly pleased about it. And why would you be? Vienna's at 50%, and that right there is completely ruined everything. Oh dear. Couldn't have happened at a better time, eh?
I mean, at least it wasn't, we're like exactly halfway through. Because then it's like, well, do we restart it as a short race, like sprint, or what? And then, like, people would have done their pit stops, that would have messed things up.
Oh. There's still a lot of conversation happening in the chat opposed to joining the lobby. Wilson has sent several images and is now hiding. Wilson, if you're here, please join the lobby. We beg of you. He says, we've done it. That was all me. I'm taking that. That was all me. But we're getting closer and closer to a fully functioning game, I think, from EA. They're doing their hardest. There is a new game coming out very soon, I'd imagine. I don't know when these games come out or what time it is or anything. I might just be lying.
Do you mean like from EA or the F1 game specifically?
Oh my god, I meant EA, and I was thinking about WRC. But that's already
WRC
come out.
has come out already.
That was last week, wasn't it?
That was last Thursday. Well,
yeah.
Last Friday is when it like fully dropped, but I had it on pre-order, so I had 3-day early access.
Oh, look at you pre-ordering games. You know, that's bad.
You see, that was the first time I've pre-ordered a game since Just Cause 4.
See, I've pre-ordered exactly one game, and that was Forza Horizon 4. And I pre-ordered Ultimate Edition, and I don't regret it. But I'm not pre-ordering another bloody game again. Because I was going to pre-order City Skylines 2, and we've all seen how that turns out.
You see, I would have definitely gotten WRC anyway, because we're switching our competition from Dirt Rally 2.0 to WRC. And with the pre-order, I got all the like DLC passes and stuff, so may as well. Plus, it was cheaper than the standard edition.
I fundamentally disagree with everything that's just happened, but that'd be probably worth it. I'm still disagreeing with it because you shouldn't give.
I mean, so far the game is good, but there are bugs and issues that need to be sorted out.
And do you have confidence in them being sorted out?
I mean, it's looking good. They have been doing fixes that, to be honest, like I haven't experienced that many issues. I've only played for a little bit. It looks like the lobby is getting going. We have 20 seconds until the lobby starts, and then like a minute until we actually get going because people need to make their setups.
Oh, this is beautiful. I wonder if the climate will change. Whether we'll be seeing a dry race, maybe inters rather than wet. I imagine he's still going to be.
I will let you know as soon as this loads. Nope.
Soaking?
Yep.
Well, at least they know. Well, look, the difference this time is that they won't be adjusting their setup for a dry qualifying. They're going to be adjusting their setup for a wet race because obviously Parc Ferme was in place last session. So we may be seeing some drivers get away a bit cleaner and maintain possibly cleaner driving. The fastest lap that we saw in the previous session was a 126 from Dason. Possibly unrepresentative. But that's the kind of speed that we were seeing there, so perhaps he'll be able to go a bit faster with a bit more wing.
Yeah, and maybe some drivers will take it slightly more carefully this time around, avoid some of those early incidents that they may have had.
I mean this in the best way possible, but I still think they're going to fly it and send it into a wall again. They're very good at doing that. As are all of the ACC competitors and all of the RS competitors. There's nothing better to do than put your car in a wall and see what happens as the parts fly everywhere. I have been accused of doing that. I did that at Valencia. I got a drive through and then just stuck my steering straight and went straight into a wall. That's the best thing to do when you have a drive through, because it means that the stewards can't enforce it. That's the plan. Always come up with an escape plan. Right,
Okay, well, it looks like we are getting going here. Got 5 lights, and they are out.
Ooh, bad
Someone's
start.
had a really bad start.
Alpha, once again, dropping positions on the start. He managed to drop down to 9th last time, but he's managing to hold station. No, I lie. He's dropped down to 9th. It's happened again. 3 wide almost at the back of the grid there. Dason managing to get away ahead of the 2 Williams there. Jareki again gaining the position on Geek.
Someone's lost and then plate.
This is just a repeat. Are we watching a repeat of the last session, or is this...
I think it's slightly cleaner still, actually.
It's strikingly similar to the beginning of last session.
It sure is.
Alpha dropping all the way down to 11th. This is a driver who started 6th, so he's going to be hopefully making his way through the grid. It seems to be in terms of how strong these drivers are in the wet, opposed to how fast they are in general.
I don't think my game has ever struggled this much.
Just blame the servers. It's graphical performance, but blame the servers.
Yep.
Excellent. As we see, Cameron, slowly he's making the way through the grid. He seems to have both end plates still intact, so I'm still... Oh, no!
And that will definitely be a safety car. There it is, virtual safety car. I think his wheel might have disconnected again.
Yeah, he went straight on there. I said his end plates were intact, and of course he immediately goes to ready prove me wrong. So
I can't believe we caught that live.
It's probably the first opportunity that we've had to do that all day today. Can we get our Fs out in the chat for Cameron here, who unfortunately passed? As we see, are those slicks?
Those are not slicks.
Are you sure?
Those are either green or blue. They're blue.
Blue, okay. The game, it looked for a second from my end that they were completely smooth.
I could see the tread slightly, so I knew it wasn't slicks.
I wonder if anyone's going to make that mistake, because I've definitely done it at ACC. I've definitely done it at ACC before.
It looks like we're back to racing now. So what's happening at the front here? It looks like Joe is challenging Dason a little bit, but Dason does have almost a whole second lead now. And Matty is right behind Joe.
Job and Matty Mumu, so they've swapped positions at some point here. As you can see on the graph here, Tom Hook, our biggest winner, Alpha, our biggest loser at the minute, as we see. Is that Moore Island?
Yep, it was indeed.
Ooh, he's still sliding about. Manages to wrangle the car, pointing ahead again, very aggressively moving across into the draft there of Alpha.
It looks like he's playing on a controller, which may not give you the smoothest inputs that you would want, especially when it's this wet.
Manages to get the overtake done though, regardless of Smoothness, but Alpha coming back. Island just breaking a bit late to try and maintain the outside. A little bit of contact there. Island pushed to the outside of the track there, and he's going to have to concede the position. Both cars now have lost 4 positions here. Not the most ideal circumstances.
Wilson also making up 3.
Just made the move on Assassin there. Exciting first few laps here. The servers managing to hold their own for the time being. Just about. It is Dason to Joe to Matimumu to Geek to Jaraki to Tom to AD to Wilson to Assassin to Alpha to round out our top 10. More Island and BUSR, the drivers just outside of those positions. And Cameron Searle unfortunately met a wall. And that is going to put a dampener on his championship outlooks here. So I understand that there are drop rounds in this championship. However, I don't think he wanted to just use it just yet, but his wheel having other ideas.
Around the outside, he will have the inside going down into T2 there. Nice overtake from Assassin onto Wilson there.
That was very clean. Love to see it. Love to see a nice clean overtake on a horrifically torrential track like this. If this was real life, this would have been red flagged by now.
Yeah,
so it's great to see some wet running.
Luckily for us, we are not the FIA, and we're not scared of some rain.
Exactly. Oh. So we watch now Assassin as we see Alpha leave the... Oh gosh.
Please don't start happening again. Please don't start happening again.
Alpha leaves the session. And we're seeing just behind More Island attempting to make the move on the stricken car here. As they go wheel to wheel, quite literally through the final turn. And More Island has made up the position. That is an overtake on what can only be described as a ghost car. But the ghost car is coming back for the overtake. Side by side into turn 1. And the AI has to concede for a second as Alpha rejoins the server to attempt to regain control of his vehicle.
He'll probably regain control here on the slight straight, I'd imagine. No?
I don't understand how this works.
I think you just press a button and we'll just let you take control again. Yeah, there we go. He's taking control there. That is not the place I would have wanted to take control. But okay. Let's see. Any other close battles on the grid?
AD.
Assassin and AD, yes.
Nose to tail down the straight. We have no DRS here because it is too wet for that kind of nonsense. As we see Assassin here just tucking in. Oh, almost making something happen through turn 10, taking a wide line through turn 11. But there's no chicane here.
It looks like Assassin has a lot of rear wing. That would give him a fair bit of grip. So he may get a better exit here.
Yeah, it doesn't go all the way out onto the wet curbing there, and that is giving him, as you say, more grip, a better line through, and more speed. They go side by side down the straight, and AD just having to concede the corner there to Assassin, who makes that move. Never mind. You know what? Why do I bother talking? Why do I bother saying anything?
We've got another virtual safety car. I've got a full-blown safety car.
This is the second time that I've said something and it immediately becomes untrue.
Ah, what a lovely game this is.
I want the right to be able to talk and not have adverse consequences on the universe, please. This is the second time now I said clean overtake and he puts it in a wall. Dason still in the lead of our champion, the lead of our race here, looking to try and make a clean getaway from this safety car in what I can assume will be a couple of laps of waiting.
Yeah, I reckon we'll probably go back to racing on lap 9 or 10.
What I want to see is whether anyone drops it under safety car.
That would be funny.
I mean, if you were, I mean, you took part, I assume, Laguna Seca for ACC.
I missed 2 rounds, so I don't think I have. No.
So Laguna Seca was the most recent round of ACC. We are on the formation lap, and at
yes,
least
I remember seeing that because I was editing the highlights with it.
about 5 cars span on the formation lap, including me. Because it turns out that the TC setting that you run to go really fast through the corkscrew is not the same TC setting that you use to go really slowly through the corkscrew. And you just spin up your tires and die. So, we are our second safety car / virtual safety car period into this race. We are 7 laps in.
Professional racing here, of course. Really the
I mean,
best.
I don't blame them. This is horrific.
Oh, no, yeah,
horrific weather.
This is bad. I'm not sure what happened though, because like everything looked good, and then the car just turned.
It just kept going.
Yeah, it just kept going sideways.
These cars are not very easy to correct a kind of lazy spin like that. So once it starts going, you've got precious little that you can do to kind of bring it back under control, other than just slamming on the brake and then hoping that your car doesn't just hydroplane straight forwards. Especially as we saw there, he was doing an overtake. He was off the ideal line going into the corner, and you catch a puddle and say goodbye to.
Oh, Dason just tricked Joe into going to the pits. That was 300 IQ.
What am I watching? I mean, we say this, but he's only dropped 4 positions, really, because a bunch of people followed him in.
I think he
Having
might
said
drop
that,
a few more.
two cars going past on the straight. Dropping to 7th, considering that all the cars ahead of him have not pitted.
Oh, and he goes on to the Inters.
Oh dear.
Oh, we're gonna see him spin on the safety car.
Look, I'm sorry that I mentioned anything ever, okay? I'm sorry that I spoke. If I speak anymore, I'm in trouble. I don't think this gamble is going to pay off. I think the reason that Joe came into the pits this lap is because Matty Mumu was in the pits last lap. I wasn't fully paying attention in the whole pit cycle because it's a pit cycle, but if you could bring up the tyre life graphic. Ooh,
Matty
no.
did not go into the pits.
Ooh, a bunch of people onto the Inters.
Interesting indeed.
More Island down have all pitted, which means the front 4 are still on the original set of tyres.
I mean, those tyres will last a while, but if the track is getting drier, especially on the racing line, then they may be overheating a bit.
Maybe Dason should have committed to that dummy rather than faking a pit stop.
I can't tell if the rain is getting harder or lighter. It still looks about the same as when we started.
Oh, this should be... What on earth? People are... Where's the safety car? Ah, a couple more people into the pit lane. Matty Mumu and Dason have come in. I think they've realised the mistake.
That is going to be problematic because they're going to drop to the back now. Oh no.
So Tom Hoog now in charge of this race with AD just behind. What on earth is going on?
I
Well, they
reckon
can-
the safety car has to be in this lap, so Tom Hug and AD do not have time to go back in.
Oh, no, does it? Doesn't it require all the cars to catch up? I mean, BUSR has not caught up to the safety car at all yet.
I think they will catch up here in a moment. And they still got half a lap to go.
No penalties yet. That's... Ooh, look, I'm sorry I spoke. They collide just there, and are we going to see a 5-second penalty for egregious contact of the safety car?
I didn't see any contact.
It was close. I don't know if there's an element of netcode involved or what, but Moore Island got very close to the back of AD just there. Ah, yes, warm your tyres by driving into the wet part of the track.
And the safety car is in this lap.
Oh, jeez. Tom Hug slowing right down.
Now, because of this new layout, he has a very long run around here that he can do, but the safety car is still going round to the pits.
Yeah. Got fairly significant pace.
And he's gone.
It's taking it away. Already a half-a-second gap to the car behind. Everyone through the final corner with minimal issue.
Alright, let's see what's happening behind here then.
So our wet runners at the minute is Tom Hug, AD, and Alpha. Everyone else on the Inters. Moore Island, our lead driver on the Inter tyre. So this will be a good opportunity to see how the Inters compare to the wet tyre. As Alpha immediately goes for a move. Has to back out of it. Job also investigating whether he can sneak a move in. Can't quite. Geek attempting to capitalize on the fact that Job had to back out of that. There, no, oh, they're going 2x2 into turn 7. AD conceding the position to Moore Island. Moore Island now up to 2nd position. Unless I am talking completely.
Oh, that was a great
I am
camera angle.
correct. Oh, is Geek now making it Noah's Ark 2x2
they
by
made contact.
crashing? Oh,
What's
dear.
happening behind? Oh, my god.
This is a ruddy traffic jam here. There are just moves being made left, right, and centre. It's very hard to keep track. But I'll attempt to as we see AD enter the pit lane. Likely due to a front wing change or tyres. One of the two. I think he's also banking on the fact that it doesn't matter if he comes out a minute behind. There's going to be a safety car later on. That's what he's banking on. As we see Cherokee and Wilson do a little battle. As we see a McLaren backwards.
That
That is Alpha.
on the wet tyres. So none of the Inters have had a full spin yet. But looks like Alpha is not enjoying himself at the moment. I don't know, maybe some contact was made. I didn't see. There was a lot of side-by-side action.
What I can confirm is that Geek has dropped, as well as Alpha has dropped position. I am now watching the stream here. It seems that Alpha just dropped it, and then Geek and Cherokee and I believe Matty Moon as well had to take some avoiding action. And that's why there's a bit of a shuffle. But he seems to have gotten back going again. Tom Hug, unfortunately, dropping from, just before that incident, the lead, more or less, down to 5th. Down to 8th. He's pitting in for some Inters. I think Inters is now the strategy that everyone wants to be taking.
We thought Dason may have made a massive mistake by pitting so late and dropping to the back, but he's up into 3rd now. 2nd.
Yeah, with some contact, but
Alpha Very
Can't
unlucky
complain.
5-second penalty for spitting in the P lane.
Speeding in the peed lane, yes. It is
Oh,
wet.
words.
Job, now the leader of our race, but Dason very close behind. He wants to regain what he earned with his pole position there, Job, not wanting to let that go just yet. Matimumu just a second back in third, More Island dropping a couple of positions. Down to fourth, Jaraki, his teammate, in fifth, Geek in sixth position, BUSR and Wilson, the Ferrari duo, seventh and eighth, AD in ninth after taking a late pit stop just after the safety car, Tom Hook in 10th, and Alpha, the last running car on the track with a 5-second penalty due to sending it a bit too hard into pit entry. Assassin and Cameron, as we saw earlier, both dropping it under different circumstances, as Bratty Terror 547 has joined the lobby. This is what you love to see.
I've got to know what is going to be happening here. Obviously, they cannot join the race at the moment, but as we can see, Dason has made the move on to Joe. Will it stick? It looks like it's not sticking as Joe is fighting it. Please give me better camera angles. Game, please. I can't.
As we go side by side, Job sticking to the inside, just cuts across to try and widen the entry at the corner as much as possible. Dason tried to stick around the outside. Has to just tuck back in for a second here. This corner is probably not the best position that you want to be riding over the curb on the inside for. Job maintaining position for the time being, but I imagine Dason is going to be looking to try and make a move just as we come out of turn 9. As we come swinging through there, a kind of mid-speed, mid-gear corner.
Will we see any dives being made here? Dason's
Yes, we
going for
will.
it, but he's not had enough of a advantage.
Yeah, that corner, it would have been, it's much more effective, that dive on the older layout, where that corner was much more of an angle. It was more of an elbow rather than an open radius on exit.
I really hated that corner. That was so bad.
Look, I really like the old Sector 3, which is why I'm looking forward to, if it is, I believe it is in this season of ACC. I'm looking forward to sending someone flying over the curbs. We see Dason taking the lead of the race. He made that look easy with a draft overtake down the straight, and now Dason is going to want to just drive off here. He's proven that he has a pace advantage in the dry. Let's see if he can prove he has a pace advantage in wet. As we see BUSR taking a mild excursion somewhere near the track in Barcelona, as 4 cars come piling through.
We've got a little bit of a train here. Geek is desperate to get past Moore Island.
The Moore Island may have gone the wrong way on the setup here, as we see Geek just get side by side, have to tuck back in for turn 9, and that's given BUSR a motive to try and get past Geek, who's tried to get past the Alpha, as we see it goes side by side, and Geek just getting through with a bit of a dive,
but there's so much contact.
Oh, BUSR flying into the rear tyre there. That's potentially an end plate gone missing there.
It looked like there was carbon fiber flying, but I can't tell what it was.
And the winner out of that battle is still Moore Island, because he's managed to regain all the positions just then. Bizarre here.
I am sure that Geek and Wilson are finding this very frustrating. BUSR also.
Indeed, it's just, as we see, Moore Island being overtaken by Wilson now. Wilson getting in on the action. This BUSR now overtakes a Geek. Geek was the lead car just behind.
Oh, but BUSR
Moore
got
Island
a penalty.
What on earth is happening? There's too much to keep track of. Look, there's overtaking happening. We'll get you the deets as soon as it happens. Interestingly, if you do look at the map, we've got Jaraki kind of in no man's land between the battle of the blue cars at the front and the battle of the red cars just behind. So, pleasing colour palettes all around. Very autumnal battle for 5th, and a very winter feeling battle for the podium over here. So, I commend our drivers for being very, very seasonally appropriate.
Yeah. It looks like Dayson, now that he's out in front, he is running away with the lead. Matimumu and Joe going to be fighting for P2 here by the looks of it. In the meanwhile, I'm not entirely sure. It looks like Jaraki is falling back a bit here. Can't tell if the train behind him is catching up or not, though. I need to keep a slightly closer eye on the timing board.
I am just investigating a minor thing here for Ed. Ed did not see Bratty Terror 543 join the server, and is very confused about me writing it in the chat. As we see now, Tom Hug and AD battling for the 9th position. All the way back here, these were both drivers who pitted fairly late after the safety car had already come in.
Yeah, at some point Tom Hug was in the lead of the race during the safety car period. Wow, my words are not wording today. And you can now see he's all the way at the back. It looks like he does have the pace over AD, so it's just a matter of when will he be able to get the overtake done. Probably down the straight, but Joe has got a 3-second time penalty. That is not good for Joe, as he also just sets a new fastest lap. I'm sure that's not going to be counted because he definitely overstepped the track limits.
Maybe it was worth it. Maybe it was worth it. You know, get that fastest lap and a 3-second penalty, which drops you down 1 position. Maybe it was worth it. Who knows?
I don't know.
There's still a long way to go in this race. We're just over halfway. As we see Moore Island getting grief from Geek. It's continually still. I think Geek has managed to get by once and then was immediately hampered by a Ferrari. So Moore Island is holding off 2 cars still. As Wilson has a 3-second penalty just up ahead as well, which means that overall, Moore Island's still winning in this battle. You see Tom Hug set a purple sector, interestingly.
Azza is on 3 stops, apparently.
Can confirm, I believe Bazza was the car that pitted under the virtual safety car initially.
Ah, right.
I'm unsure about the second pit stop, but the third pit stop was during that safety car as well. I'm not sure if they stopped twice in the safety car because they messed up their tyre combo. A bunch of 3-second penalties and the 5-second penalty for Alpha for entering the pit lane at breakneck speeds. Drivers just holding station for the time being, but they are very close coming to the end of the straight. We see a move being made. The 2 red Ferrari-powered cars just at the front there as Moore Island is tried to get past Wilson, and Geek puts it on the inside for a double overtake. Can he make it stick? Can. That is impressive. He saw an opportunity, stuck his nose in, and bam, went for it. Beautiful to see. And hopefully after me saying that, he won't immediately put it in a wall. As he slides, he heard me. The universe does not like my commentary, I'm understanding now. But
I've got all the right cameras today. I'm just like on the right cars when things happen.
Speaking of the right cars, the 2 Ferraris side by side. Bazza making the move on Wilson. Wilson was at the front of this pack very, very shortly ago. And now he's dropped back down to the rear of this red train here. Geek has already pulled a 2.5 seconds on Moore Island. He had been cooped up behind those drivers for so long that he felt that the best decision was to send it 3 wide. And 3 wide rarely works, but it worked in this case. So congratulations to Geek for possibly the most impressive overtake I've seen. quick rundown of the order while we are 19 laps in, which is an important number. I'm not going to explain why, but if you know, you know. Dyson in the lead, just ahead of Job, who at the minute will concede the place to Matty Mumu just behind. Jaraki in 4th, Geek 5th. Moore Island 649, 4-7 in 6th. Bazza and Wilson both on 3-second penalties, 7th and 8th to Ferrari Gio. Tom Hug in 9th, AD in 10th, and currently at the back of the grid is Alpha with a 5-second penalty. I can't help but notice that Alpha, AD, and Tom have not been able to offset the fact that they pit so late. I think they're still banking on a late safety car, but
yeah,
I can't see who would be causing this late safety car. Everyone's managing to keep their car somewhat planted if you completely ignore turn 6 and turn 5.
Everything looks to have settled now. All the cars are somewhat separated, apart from these 3 here. So I think we'll continue watching them, as it looks like Bazza didn't have that good of an exit. Wilson may be looking down the inside here.
Gaining. Changes his mind. Shame. They are now very close. Their issue is that they are currently stuck behind Moore Island, and they want to be able to overtake and then pull a 3-second gap to even consider being ahead, getting the position just in general. But they just don't seem to have enough of a pace advantage to be able to, be in a position to make an overtake. And it must be very frustrating when you are sat behind a car that you feel that you have maybe not a significant pace advantage on, but enough to be able to pull a gap, and just not having any opportunity to stick up the inside, maybe run around the outside.
Well, as once said by a very great man that I did not remember the name of, it's one thing to catch up to a car, it's another thing to overtake it.
See, the quote that I normally go off is the famous Ayrton Senna quote where he once said, "If got car," and I take that to heart. If I see a gap, that's where the car goes. Will Bazza take this to heart as well? Yes, he will, onto the outside, so this puts him on the inside for turn 2 if he could keep his nose in, but unfortunately goes very deep into turn 1, and that has compromised his overtake. And once again, he's seeing the rear diffuser at Alfa Romeo that he'd much rather see anywhere but in front of him.
Yeah, it looks like Wilson is dropping back a little bit now, so maybe he's struggling somewhat. Bazak had a really good exit there, but unfortunately he's not able to capitalize on it.
Still very close to the back of this car. If he can get this run through turn 9, he may have an opportunity into the sweeper here, as he's just not able to. I think he was hoping that Island would defend the inside there, but still manages to get the move done anyway.
Yeah, Island went a bit too wide there, and that just let him through. Ooh, that was scary for a moment. Nice catch, though.
Ooh, but that's put Island right on his rear now. Island getting a bit of a wider run out of the turn. They're all snaking down the straight here. Island, Wilson lucky to the inside. Just for a moment, just getting out of the spray. And our drivers hold station for the time being. Bazza making... That was a very uncharacteristic mistake to be making at turn 9, where it's just braked late. It wasn't even a slide or anything. It was just a braking late situation there. Moore Island going through. Wilson getting a big tank slapper, just sending him slightly further back. Run through turn 9, crucial now, because it's seeming that BUSR is just pulling a slight gap. So they are very close on pace, these drivers.
Yeah, these are probably the closest ones on pace. The top three are managing to stay within 3 seconds of each other. If Matty can stay within 3 seconds of Joe, then that's a free position for him. But it looks like Joe may be able to just edge out ahead. Still, this is the closest battle we've got, so we're gonna stick with these guys. As the race has now truly settled down.
We're not going to really be seeing any pit stops from this point either, because there's no requirement to change compound, because most of these drivers have already pit anyway, even if that was a requirement. So we'll be seeing these drivers go to the end of these tyres. The only thing that would really put a spanner in the works right now, especially for our penalty-ridden drivers, is whether there would be a safety car. As Dayson and Job quickly trade fastest laps, 22.1 is what it stands at. Job again getting that fastest lap. Maybe it was worth getting that 3-second penalty after all.
Yeah, if he can keep the gap to Matty, then it would have definitely been worth it. But at this point, he's got another fastest lap, so was it really worth it? It's for him to decide.
We'll ask him later. If he manages to maintain the top three, well, I'm very much likely to interview him. Maybe we'll be able to interview Matty Mumu this time, because last week he was experiencing connection difficulties.
That was interesting.
Discord very much likes giving you an RTC connection, not explaining how to fix it, because there is no fix, as I've discovered.
No, you just need to restart the client.
I found that doesn't even work. Like even if I go on the browser version, it's still broken. DRS enabled.
What?
Are we sure? Hello?
This looks very wet still. Do you see all that spray coming up off the car?
DRS?
Okay, it's enabled. Let's go.
Sure. I mean,
Dayson is putting on the soft tires.
Oh my god.
This is not right. There's something isn't right. I think it has stopped raining now, so it is drying out.
Geek!
Oh.
Oh, dearie.
Okay, this is gonna get interesting very quickly now. This is the spanner that we've been waiting for.
Oh.
Now, can the drivers keep it clean on the slick tires?
My screen is just frozen here. There we go. Dayson, 18 seconds back, but look how quickly that gap is going to be closing in. 18, 17.9, 17.8.
I'd imagine that Joe will be pitting on this lap, so he will definitely be going in. He just set a purple sector 2, though. I'm assuming because it's drying.
Yeah, I imagine Dayson will also be setting a purple sector 2.
Yep.
And there it is. As he gains a second and a half on Job here. This means Matty Mumu's also going to gain a second and a half of Job. I don't know if it serves a 3-second penalty. If it does, that means he's likely to come out neck and neck with Matty Mumu as they exit the pit lane. A lot of people still left on inters.
Yes, let's switch to our tyre graphics. Only one person is on inters, and that's Bazza, who's now pitting.
I'm interested.
Now, Wilson, why hards? Why hards?
Why hards? That's what I was going to ask. Geek, why mediums? Those are two questions that should be asked. Odd choice here. Job coming out 3 seconds back and still has the penalty. So, Pitting late did not do him any favors. I'm not sure if that was a team issue with, if they both pit, they can't double stack, etc., etc.
The track has dried very quickly. There is no more spray coming off the cars.
As you can see, very realistic. I wish it was dried this quickly in real life, because it's been soggy and wet here all week. See, so Jason, Matty Mumu to Job to Jareki to Geek to Wilson to Moore Island to Tom Hogg to AD to Bazza to Alpha. So Moore Island coming off worst in that quadruplet of cars, but they are still very close to the back of Wilson.
With DRS.
Interested to see how Geek has managed to pull 10 seconds on Wilson. And I'm more interested to see what happened to Bazza. I believe he was the last person at Inters, right?
Yeah, Bazza was the last person on Inter, so he's lost a lot of time on that one lap.
Incredible amount of time.
And that was an easy overtake for Moore Island with the help of DRS and soft tires. But besides that, that's like the only battle again.
They've all managed to spread themselves out.
No one else is within DRS range. But look at how much quicker these cars are now. We've got the sun out as well. Wow, the weather's really changed. It's like the UK.
The sun coming out is fairly unrealistic, but we'll take that. As we see DRS opening, Wilson looking, can't quite catch up, and I hate to say it, it will be due to those hard tires hampering progress. You see a big slide. Like, the track is not rubbered up, so he's just going to be on ice for the first few laps just to get it warmed up, and even then it's still going to be nowhere near the potential of the soft tire.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he has the pace to go for the overtake here. He'll try around the outside.
Sliding, yeah, he just understeered into the side of Island there, and it was not Island's fault at all that Wilson just came up on him.
And I think, unfortunately for Wilson, that is probably going to be it of the battle. He probably won't be able to get enough time on this lap to be within the DRS range again. Although, as I say that, he is closing in after that corner there. He had much better exit, I guess.
But what is scary for both of these drivers is now that Tom Hogg is now within DRS range of both of these cars.
Look at it. It's now just sunny.
Very normal. Very cool. AD with the 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Is that now 6 seconds for AD here?
8 seconds. I think AD had 5 seconds for speeding in the pits, and then 3 seconds on that.
Side by side down the straight, they're just trading blows with this DRS.
Yeah, and Tom Hogg is just catching up onto the back of them as they battle here.
What Wilson needs to do is pull 3 seconds of both of these cars. We see Bazza now catching up to AD. Technically already has the position due to time, but it's always nice to have an on-track position as well.
Yeah, and if he can get cleared, then he may be able to make a run for Tom Hogg as well in these last few laps. Unlikely, but as we can also then see, Joe and Matty. Joe has DRS on Matty here. Will he go up the inside or around the outside? He's going up the inside. And that is a clean overtake before the corner.
Happen. There's no reason for Matty to battle this. All he has to do is really just hang on to his rear diffuser.
Yeah.
And I think Matty's fairly confident in that.
Yeah, they've got no danger from Jareki back and forth. 12-second gap there.
So coming down the pitch straight now, Moore Island is in DRS range of Wilson as he goes for the move. Around the outside, manages to keep it clean and gets the move done. Tom Hug again getting ever closer. Moore Island aggressively defending there. Just behind as well, BUSR has made the move on AD. Officially. Not just post-race timey-wimey kind of way. Wilson now, again, looking to try and re-overtake with those hard tyres coming down the DRS straight here. Tom Hug on the back of Wilson, on the back of Moore Island. They are gaining. Wilson braking very late, going very wide. Cuts right across the nose of Island here, and that's allowed Tom Hug to make the move.
But he's not made it yet. Moore Island is back out in front.
And this is his opportunity now, especially with Wilson getting such bad drive off that turn. DRS wide open. Sticks a nose ahead. Makes the move. There, Tom Hug side by side into the turn. That's definitely contact there. And Wilson, again, making his way back past Tom Hug. And Tom Hug really wants to get by here because he wants to make the move on Moore Island, because that's the position that really matters here, is the 6th position, because Wilson cannot technically get that unless there is a successful appeal to the stewards, but Tom Hug definitely can get the position. So he's just ever more frustrated as we roll on to the final. I believe the leaders are on the final lap now.
Second to last lap.
Oh, is that counter? Oh, that counters global. My bad. But Job unable to pull a gap, as we predicted before. This battle here is still hotting up. Wilson now DRS open on Moore Island, managed to pull a gap onto Tom Hug. They are now side by side down the straight once more. Wilson making the move. This has put Island in the firing line of Tom as they swing through turn 3. Just charging their battery a bit there, as you see by the flashing lights on the back of the car. Sliding. Wilson pulling a bit larger of a gap than I was expecting, into the 0.9s now. The soft tire potentially falling off a little bit, as the leaders now do go on to the final lap. DRS wider for the pair of them. Tom Hug a lot closer than he was at this point last lap. In the background, BUSR you see going through the turn as well. That's how compact this back half of the grid is. This is 6th down to 11th, all in Sector 3. As we go on to the final lap for the battle for 6th. Wilson temporarily in front as Island looks for a second there. Also defending from behind as Tom Hug now right on the diffuser of the Alfa Romeo. They're now... Ooh, as Tom Hug switches sides. Can't quite get a full overlap on the Alfa Romeo here. So they maintain this position into turn 5 through the turn 6 kink now, as we see Dason taking the win. That's Job coming across the line. 2nd on track, 3rd overall. Battling now, still going for this 6th in classification position. Moore Island defending fiercely as the inside line is just snuck in, as Geek gets a 5-second penalty for an unserved penalty, which is...
I'm not sure what that is, but to the line here, Moore Island is going to stay out in front of Tom Hug. Great defending.
That was very close from our drivers there. BUSR taking 9th, AD for 10th, and Alfred finishing just outside the top 10. I have to say, quality racing from everyone involved there. That was some of the cleanest racing we've seen. Not too many inter-car contacts there. So,
yeah, safety cars were not caused due to contact, but just due to skill issue.
Which, happens to the best of us. So, Dason here, taking his first win of the season. His best previous finish being P3 and P3. P3 was fastest lap at Hungary, was his best position, so it would be great for him to take a win. I imagine he'll be very pleased with that. Other winners up and down the grid here, we have Matti Mumu getting a second place finish after getting 2 other second place finishes this season, very consistently first or second the whole season. Well, first, second, and third, if you count the sprint race, which I have strong opinions on the sprint format, but we don't talk about that. And Job as well. Job. I believe it is Joe. I don't know why he's going by Job this race. Finishing P5. Last race, he'll be happy to be back into the top 3.
Yeah, and he got the extra point by getting fastest lap.
Quality.
So he'll be happy with that.
Are we prime for some interviews? I'm just going to say yes to that. Unless you'd like to speak to...
Just do top 3, I think.
You know what?
Yeah, you know, it's up to you. Choose whoever you want.
I'm going to say top 2, and I'd like to speak to the figurehead of that battle there. I'd like to speak to Moore Island if I can.
That's fair enough. Let's go.
Uh-oh, Joe is typing. Right, so Dason may not have a mic. So if Dason doesn't have a mic, we'll take second and third and Moore Island / Matthew, as his name is, just not on Xbox. Everyone's shuffling around. That was a great race. Changeable conditions, interesting pit strategies on the safety car. All in all, a good, well-rounded race.
Yeah. Yep. That race had just about everything in it. It had connection issues. It had rain. It had safety cars. A little bit of contact. And then some good hard racing.
Yeah. And that's what you love to see, is just a well-rounded. I think we've covered the whole gamut of what Formula racing can bring. And I think we have our interviewees here, and I think we shall take it from bottom to top. And speaking of the whole gamut of racing, hello, Matt.
Hello.
Congratulations on your P6 finish. It got very, very close at the end there. You've been battling these drivers for nearly half the race. How was it in that battle for you?
It was crazy in there. It was I pit for inters and I was ahead of people I shouldn't have been ahead of, so I was fighting the entire race trying to defend my position. So it was consistent and ended up just staying ahead of Tom Hug, only just though.
Yeah, you'd really been taking advantage of the the straights to kind of swap position between yourself and Wilson. Did you expect Tom Hug to catch back up as fiercely as he did? Because he was a long way behind you guys in the pit cycle.
Yeah, I could see him catching up very very quickly on the track map for most of the race. So I was expecting him to get to us right at the end, and I was hoping I could just stay ahead of him. And I used Wilson's DRS. We did a little swap with Wilson every other lap because he had a 3 seconds, so I was happy to stay ahead of Tom Hug and stay behind Wilson.
Got any questions yourself?
Nope.
Well, I've got one more before we do close this off. The wet to dry caught a few people out. I noticed that you managed to get yourself in the lead of the race, as you mentioned before, and leapfrog a few of the drivers. Do you feel that you had your strategy right for what was such a changeable race?
Yeah, I think luckily I did. I pit for inters when the safety car came out, and it was still saying it was full wet, but it was a risk, and I was willing to take it. And luckily it came off. So we could have gone really badly, but it didn't. So I was happy to be in the lead. I just knew I wasn't going to keep it, but happy to be there for a little bit.
Well, congratulations on your finish. It was an incredibly entertaining race that we watched from you. We were with you guys for that battle for majority of the second half of that race. So congratulations, P6, and hopefully see you here next week.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next, shall we bring in the P2 driver of Matty Mumu?
Yeah.
Let's see if he can connect this week. Hello, can you hear us, sir?
It works this week. Hello.
Hey, welcome, Matty Mumu. We did try and talk to you last week, but we've managed to wrangle you here this week. Congratulations on your P2 finish. How was it for you in terms of, well, I mean, it was a wet to dry race. This stuff doesn't normally happen. How was that for you, and how did you adapt?
Firstly, loading into the lobby and seeing a rain cloud was fun. It always adds some extra excitement, I think. But when you're actually doing the race, it's very boring. See, there's no DRS, and yeah, it was an interesting one throughout. We probably pit a bit too late onto the inters, which is why we were down in like 9th and 10th at some point during the race. But thankfully, we were able to get through the field quite quickly, and yeah, managed to get through Joe off penalty.
I am just confirming. I don't want to say something that I'm just going to put my foot in my mouth. But yes. So you were behind Joe coming up to the transition between wet to dry.
Yes.
You were beyond his penalty range. Did you expect to gain as much as you did on that one lap extra that you had on the dries? Or did you still feel it was slightly too early to be taking dries that lap?
No, it was definitely ready for dries. All that happened was he missed the pit entry. So he would have pitted, and I would have been held back, being a double stack. But I don't think I expected to gain, I think it was about 6 seconds overall, but I expected to be ahead of him. And from that point, it was about staying within, either keeping him behind or staying within 3 seconds, which I was able to achieve.
Any question from yourself?
No, but I would assume that you would have been quite relieved to see when Joe got his 3-second time penalty, even though he was edging ahead, and there was quite a gap. Eventually, when he started to close in, I would assume it made you feel quite a bit more comfortable to be taking P2.
Yeah, I could tell that Joe was just faster quite early on. But the main point of relief was Mr. Searle's DNF in both quali and the race, thanks to his wheel. That was unfortunate for him, but Yeah, he has a drop round for a reason, and hopefully he can get it fixed in time.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here. Congratulations on your P2 finish. You're very consistent throughout the season, not dropping below third, I believe. So congratulations to yourself, and we'll see you here next week, hopefully.
Thank you.
All right. And we have one more interview, and that is with Dason. Let's bring him in here. Hello. Welcome to the interview room. P1. I mean, let's straight out there. P1. Congratulations on the win. How does it feel?
It's good because the first two races I've done, I felt I got screwed over a little bit, not too much, but here it was generally all mistake free. I drove really well, and I'm just happy with it.
I mean, you seemed very much in command of this race, barring one exception, and that was the transition between the wets to inters. You
Yeah.
came in fairly late and came powering through the field. Did you expect it to be that significant moving on to the inters? Because obviously you pitted a lap later than most.
Yeah, I tried to bait people into the pits originally, and that's why I didn't pit. So I thought it was the wrong decision at the time. But then as I was going down the back straight, I realised it was actually the right decision to pit that lap. So I think me and Matty and a couple of others pit, and instead of being P1, I was suddenly P9. So I thought it would be a bit more difficult than it was to make my way through the field, but I think the rain just makes everything a bit more spread open.
And obviously switching onto the dry tyre, I believe you were one of the first drivers to do so. Because you came in, Matty Mumu just behind, and Joe kept going. Did you, at that point, expect to be gaining almost 6 seconds, 5 to 6 seconds on that lap already on the wet tyres, or were you just taking a gamble early?
No, it was basically the right time. DRS had just turned off, just turned on, I mean. And I got recommended it on the strategy thing as well. That basically means it's time to come in. Joe apparently hit the bump on the pit lane entry, and that's why he didn't pit, which is interesting. And potentially won me the race because he lost 6 or 7 seconds.
He did have a 3-second penalty, but
yeah,
it
he
would have been
very caught
close.
up to me. His pace was surprisingly quick on the dries once we got onto that. So yeah, glad he did that.
And Doom, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions, but congratulations on P1. I think it's your first win here at the BUSR.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's a lot more to come, I think.
Hopefully.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you here hopefully next week for Zandvoort.
Will do. Thank you.
And I think that rounds out our interviews there. We've seen pretty much everything that Formula Racing has to offer: dry, wet, overtakes, undertakes, left, right, pits, safety cars, virtual safety cars, crashes, and not crashing. So congratulations to our drivers. They're making it through a particularly difficult weekend at Spain. Any final thoughts?
No, it's just as you said, a very well-rounded race.
Well, it's been a pleasure to commentate over this race. We hope to see you here for next week's racing. I have been slightly asked to promote next week's racing. ACC will be taking the GT3s to Misano, which is a lovely, lovely track just near San Marino in Italy. iRacing on Thursday is taking the street stocks to Concord, a short oval. I will be there this week. I forgot to turn up because I was asleep. So I can confirm it will be good racing. And if it's not good racing, your money back. And then F1 this time next week will be at Zandvoort. So fantastic racing there. And as always, weekly Dirt Rally will be doing their runs. So if you are interested in joining, sign-ups are always open for all of our leagues. Just head on over to busr.gg/Discord, get yourself signed up, get yourself verified as a student or alum, and join us, because it's great fun racing.
Yeah, and to quickly talk about Rally a little bit more, this week hasn't ended yet because you have a whole week to do your run. So this week is New Zealand in the F2 kit cars. I've already done my run. I wasn't too happy with it, so to anyone that can actually beat me and you haven't done your run yet, go ahead and do it, because you may actually beat me this week. But next week we'll be heading to Argentina in the R5s, which is a mixed bag for me because I love the R5s, but I hate Argentina. So we'll have to see how that one goes.
And yeah, otherwise, thank you very much for joining us. It has been an absolute honor to commentate over this, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.